What's up, guys? We're back with another MV video. Now, the patch 11.3 notes has dropped about an hour ago. I've just woke up, which is why the hair is still in a mess. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm a little tired, but that doesn't stop me. Right, so we're gonna get right into this. Now I did hear the criticisms of the last one, right? Of the fact that I would stop halfway through on the buff or nerf and give my opinion on, the competitive scene. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna read it out first, and then you'll get my opinion. Right, so welcome to February, another big old patch. Large sweep across items and tweaks. Okay, 6 different categories. This is gonna be interesting. Sustain, yep, because Gore Drink is mega OP. Sizzle for Jinx has been wanting to crash. Oh, and some more for AP Shiv as the outliers. When tamping down on champs like Rammus and Lisa have been consistent hot shots in the jungle. I haven't seen too much Rammus in my games. Left side, all random earth is back and better than ever. We've made a few changes in light of new item landscapes. So take a quick peek below and get ultra ready. See you soon. Party girls galore. Okay, so we got a TFT patch notes. I don't really play TFT too much, so I probably won't even care about that. Right, so the highlights. Nerfs to Anivia, Cho'Gath, Elise, Ivan, Olaf, Pantheon, Rammus, Seraphine, Taliyah, Udyr. Buffs to Israel, Jinx, Karma, Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser buffs. Riven, Singe, Shyvana, Silas, Vladimir. Updates to Gangplank, Rel. And then item changes for the 6 of these. So these are going to be interesting. And then a whole bunch of new skins, but we'll get to that. So starting off with Anivia. Q detonation damage reduced, R cooldown increased later. Right, so detonation damage, you go down by 10 at every rank, plus 45% AP over 50. And then the ulti, 4-second cooldown at the same, at level 3, then 3 seconds, and then 2 seconds. Right, so these are Anivia changes. I already didn't, because I'm talking mainly about low elo, right? Because this is the elo bracket I play in. We didn't really see Anivia too much, because the players can't play the champion properly. For instance, because it's low mobility, you're gonna get caught and die. You're gonna get the egg popped, right? For instance, I'd play something like Lucian into it, depending on who it was. The same with like Yone, who is quite strong at the moment. Just heaps of stuff like that, which is why I didn't really see the champion too much. The champion itself was strong. It was just you couldn't play it because you weren't good enough on it. So I think this is gonna impact a little bit, but we weren't already seeing playing, which means we're still, like, we might see the hero there, because this isn't too big, right? The wave clear is still going to be the same, because, you just drop your ult, and the cooldown on it doesn't really affect that. This is very, very minor, in terms of Anivia gameplay. And then, so we got Cho'Gath, last round of tank item buff, Cho's been feasting in top lane. So 22, 57, 52. Right, 67, 82. And it's been changed to, so same at level 1, down by 3 damage at level 2, down by 6 at 3, down by 9, and then down by 12. I don't know if this was the reason why Cho'Gath was strong. Because Cho'Gath allowed you to, like he's always done, stack dragons with the feast, the huge insane true damage. You just pop any top laner. because Cho'Gath turns Ornn from super mega tank to super dead. You just got hit with 800 true damage, right? You can't build resistances for that. So it's probably not going to change too much, at least not in the low elo bracket. Normally you see Cho'Gath on anyone who's like auto-filled top lane in a tournament, but again, people have been playing Ornn and Malphite and whatnot, and it kind of depends on what other champions, because I did see when I was looking at that thing, there were some Riven buffs, some Vladimir buffs, so depending on what they're like, it might push Cho'Gath away again, because ranged top laners are icky for the melee champions. At least Q base damage decreased later, W active attack speed decreased later. Right, so that's because what's that? That's 180, right? So it's gone down by 20 at max, 15, 10, 5, and then the same. This Q probably isn't too much of an issue. This attack speed though. Because I know a lot of people maxed Q first. But this is fucking huge. This is almost like a gutting of the skill. Because this also applies on the spiderlings, right? So like your clear just ends up being much faster. But because at 7 you put a second point into it, right, which means it's now down 10% on the attack speed, and then 20, and then 30, and then 40. That's huge to the clear, right? Especially like mid game. Late game you're not going to need it anyway, right? Because it's more of a, you catch people type champion. It doesn't really scale too well. But I'll be interested to see how this works, because of Elisa's high skill ceiling, especially in the elo bracket. Not a lot of people fluctuate towards her. Over the likes of the Olaf, which is an easier champion. And you could argue more useful mid to late. Right, then we've got Ezreal. Q damage ratio increased. There's probably not too much to be said about this. So, 10% on the AD damage ratio. That's good, right? But if, for instance, Jhin and Kai'Sa and all those AD carries remain untouched and the items only get tweaked a little bit, I still don't think there's a place for Ezreal at the top of the tier list in terms of AD carries. And that is only because the champion relies on A, hitting skill shots, right? And then B, the mobility is insane, but I also don't like the Sundara AD carries with like the Mana Moon over crit auto attack based champions, because outside of Sundara you can't tank shred with Ezreal. But a lot of this also comes down to the items, and I kind of wish that they'd do the items first over champions, items above. But we'll take a look at that after all these champions. Okay, so we got Ivan Wandering. That's a reference to Wonder playing at top lane in LEC. Can't be around the bush any longer. God fucking damn. Health growth down by 10. That's huge. Right, and then the shield. This is it's something. I don't think this is too big, right? Because I'm assuming that's the base shield before the AP scaling. Because you normally go at mandate and not mandate, but you go whatever the fuck it's called. I think that's gonna be. It might slightly push Ivan back out, because the health growth means you can't use your passive as much in the jungle earlier into the game. Because at level 1, like, you know, you hit level 2, you hit level 3, whatever, your health's not going to be the same. You'll be missing, at level 4, missing 30 health for what you had. Right? And then you'd have a point in E, which, you know, you wouldn't be missing too much, like anything. But it starts slowly creeping in. And if you still have powerhouse junglers like Olaf still being available, Ivan's gonna be in some fucking deep waters. You know, we're gonna start speeding this up. So we got Jinx, right? Holy shit, this one's huge. No, I've not been kind to Jinx. The priority adjustments to the items in general first before tackling her. And now it's finally time. Yep. I don't know why this matters, that she's been our pro player, but it's whatever. Health down by 60. Okay. Okay, right. And then bonus range. Davis. Right, and then because that's an extra 25 range pretty much at all levels. And then you're only losing, so your XP penalty is down by 15%, right? Because it was minus 25%, now it's minus 10. That's interesting. And then Flame Shoppers, mana's going up, which I think is fine. Takes less time for them to arm. Okay, and then there's like it just casts at max range for you, right? Which I think is very, very good. I don't like the fact that the champion's gone down 60 health, base health, because I think that makes the champion more abusable. These are nice, right? Because this is huge. The bonus range, right? Because once you get to your 2 to your 3 items, you start fucking rocketing people from like halfway across the map. But I just don't know if this is enough, because yes, this range has been increased, but you're taking this away from her base health stats. So even with a Doran's Blade, you're looking at 620 starting health, which, you know, you might be like, oh, that's a lot, but it's not, considering it used to be like nearly 700. But we're gonna have to see on this one, because obviously if the Jinx can get going in the early game, she's very hard to stop mid to late. But we'll take a look at that. Bringing good Karma to support Karma, mana regen going up 1.5, and then the Q cost going down. I don't know if she was that mana hungry. I think that probably just buffs fucking top lane Karma, right? And then mid lane Karma, because the mana regen comes, right? Because you might not have to build as much mana items now, which would be good. But nah, I didn't really see, Karma wasn't really seen too much. Especially not over the likes of the Lulu, which is just such a better champion right now. But this will be interesting to see what they do and what people decide to do with that mana regen buff. So we'll have to wait on that one. Mordekaiser, E cooldown decreased. So it's been decreased from pretty much 2 seconds to and then 2, yeah. So it's pretty much 2 seconds at all ranks. They're saying he wasn't grasping the new season, but low elo he was still a monster, because you can't gank him as a jungler, which makes it very, very difficult. Right, sorry about that. So, yeah, E cooldown reduced. He was already quite a monster, especially in the low elo brackets. Because you couldn't gank him, right? Especially after 6, because he would just turn around and whoop your ass with that mace. But we'll have to see. This is a buff. And again, it all kind of comes down to where the items fall. Because Xanadru's Torment was pretty prevalent. You probably go Chem Tank into Demonic, or something along the lines, and just play a much higher tank Mordecai, which would still probably do very, very well. And then we've got, so moving on to Olaf. He's dominating the jungle, and dueling slightly. Right, so he's going down 22 base health. That's a lot. And then, okay, 0 to 75. He's getting gutted by a quarter of his passive. That's fucking huge. I still think he's gonna be seen, especially if AD carries such as Jhin stay around, right? And people have been playing like Seraphine, AP carry, and like that kind of stuff. I do think Olaf, there's still a place for him because of the ulti. I just think this is massive, and there's gonna be more power back in some of the other junglers who couldn't match Olaf before, right? But are now gonna be able to match Olaf. Right, moving on to, we've got Pantheon. Balancing out his power both in mid and jungle. And then Q damage reduced against minions. It's now minions and monsters. Wait. Okay. And then the cooldown's been increased early game. This is I don't really see it too much. But when you're reducing the cooldown by 3 seconds, and then like 2.2, and then 1.5, like early into the game, that's gonna be difficult, because you're not gonna be able to get your combo back faster to kill an enemy mid laner, or especially like if you're clearing your jungle camps. Because at level 4 is when you get that, and then 5, and like it does reduce back down to the same thing, but I just think this takes a bit of power out of his early game prowess, because he's not going to be able to spam the Q as much. If it seems like I'm rushing a little bit, it's because I don't want this video to be too long, right? We've got Rammus, E cooldown flattened. This is pretty huge, right? It's no longer, it's 12 seconds, so I'm pretty sure you don't max it anyway, right? It is the last ability you max. So for most of the game, this isn't going to be like a huge deal until you get to the later stages of the game, like the level 14s and whatnot. So that's, I don't think this is going to do much, because he's still going to have the same power for most of the game. This is just a really, really small nerf. Then we've got Rel. So, there's not too much. Sprinkled with a bit of love for the very much not a thing AP Rel builds. Fuck's sake. Okay, so 20% AP ratio on the W. An extra 10 on the other one. So the mount up, you get an extra 10. The smash one, you get an extra 20. Takes 1 second to unbind. Good cooldown with scaling non-linearly. When cast from very long range, Rel should now properly path towards the target until in range to cast her E. And then a huge AP ratio on the Magnet Storm. Every Rel I've seen has gone perma-tank. This will probably open up a bit of AP Rel, but I don't think people are gonna play it. It's too good as a tank champion. It reminds me of old Galio, but like on steroids. From back in the day. So I don't think this changes nothing. And then we've got Riven. To do weak spot, high cooldowns on the E, she lost her mojo since both her hardbound items, Gordrick and Riven Sojo, are getting substantial nerfs this patch. We're looking to reforge her spirit. Right. E cooldown from 12 to 10, 11 to 9, 10 to 8, 9 to 7, and 8 to 6. This, depending on what you max as a Riven man, because I've seen some people max Q, some people max E. If you max Q, right, this is still huge, because the 2 seconds plus a lot of people, at least the old Riven, not the old Riven, but the old like item set, you're spamming CDR, right, for these cooldowns, and then so an extra 2 seconds on the E, which can sometimes be like a 350 shield, right, because you could probably get this down to like 3 seconds or so on like I got like nearly full build, so that's huge. I don't think this changes much for low elo, because not a lot of people can play Riven, right? And if you lock in Riven, someone's just gonna play Malphite and just be like, haha, I me play Malphite, and me sit there and take all your damage and still somehow play better than you, right? Off the champion, because high skill gap. You know, you look in the skill gap your lane opponent, plus very, very high execution. So moving on to Seraphine, passive base note damage decreased, W shield decreased. Right, I'm not too sure on what the fuck this is, because I don't play the champion. But the shield's going down 10 to 10 at level 1. And then, because it's going to 100 at level 18. And then that's going, it was 120. So 20 base at level 18. That's, again, probably not a huge hit. This is probably more massive when it comes to like mid lane, though. So she's been like tuned down, but not by too much, I don't think. I think that's quite minimal. So moving on, we've got Shyvana, Q empowered basic attacks and second strike bonus damage increased. W bonus movement speed increased. 80 Shyvana to turn up on a rift. Has she been going back to a AD fighter build? Because I've still only been seeing AP Shyvana. Because everybody loves to play that. Twin Bite, so 100% AD plus 25% AP. That's huge, right? Pretty much. So there's no nerf on here. It's just you're adding AP ratios. And then yeah, another move speed buff for fucking AP. This is probably very big. Especially when you're taking down a champion like Olaf. With Olaf going down a notch, Shyvana now having AP scaling in her other abilities. Because AP Shyvana with Dark Harvest was already quite a nuisance. This is just gonna make it so much harder for players. So we move on to Singed. Struggling since preseason. Add some power to a signature spell. Remember, always chase Singed. So the ratio is going up by 10%. This is probably something, but again, not a lot of people play the champion, so not a lot of people are going to care about this. You might see the 1 or 2 players, but normally they just sprint it down anyway. So I'm not too worried about this one. We got Sylas. Q cost flattened, W damage increased. Unshackling Sylas while also evening out his skill ranks. So mana cost, this is huge. That is fucking very huge. This isn't like as big to me. The ratio, like the 5% ratio is huge, right? Because once you get later into the game, it actually matters. Whereas like the five damage, 555, that's nothing. But the mana cost down on the Q, considering a lot of people max this at the moment, that's huge, because the moment you hit level 2 on Q, the mana cost no longer goes up. So I'm happy for this. I don't know if this shifts mid lane too much, right? Depending on what happens with the items, I guess it will depend on what champions are prevalent and what aren't. And we've got Taliyah. Passive move speed is going up, and then subsequent damage. Right. So they're trying to get the champion out of jungle, right? That they want the champion back in mid lane. Right. Sorry about that again. Yeah. So we're trying to kick her out of jungle and back into mid lane. This is quite substantial, because this pretty much reduces her damage by quite a bit in the early stages. But we'll have to see where this lands, because the move speed is good, right? But it's the trade-off between move speed and damage. And then Udyr, we've got our total base damage. This may be, because if you're doing a Phoenix stance max, this isn't like massive, but it will be noticeable, at least in these early games. Just for the fact that obviously once you go from level 4 to level 5, right, it starts ramping up, or ramping down, might I say. So this champion was like a meme troll pick when it comes to low elo. Not a lot of people played it until you're like, haha, I'm gonna lock Udyr, I'm gonna run at you. So it's still gonna be pretty much exactly the same to me. And then we've got Vladimir, our cooldown now flat. So it was 150, 155, 120. Depending on what they've done to the Omnivamp champions, the Omnivamp items, I don't fucking like this. I don't think this is needed, because you're taking out the scale on the ulti. Obviously the damage is still gonna scale, and the percentages and all that crap, but you're kind of just giving a yelled fuck you to any other mid laner that has to deal with it, especially once Vlad hits 6, because the ulti's gonna be up so much earlier. But again, we gotta see what the items are doing. So we've got mage items. I'm just gonna quickly go through all these, and then we'll hit it at the end. So we got 10 AP on Lich. That's down 10 AP on Lich Bane, because that was 80 by the fucking looks of that. So that's something, right? That's gonna reduce champions like Fizz and whatnot. We got 15 AP on Horizon. The shot range is lower, which means that's actually kind of a dub. This is probably going to be pretty huge. Verdant Barrier, 6 seconds game, 3 magic resist stacking up 5 times. And then grants 0.5 magic resistance per each unit killed, maximum 15. And then combined cost is down. So instead of getting the every 3 bonus magic resistance stacking up to 5 times, it's now pretty much what Seekers is. So you kill 30 minions and you have a maximum of 15 magic resist, which actually means you probably get it faster, because this is like over 5 minutes, whereas you can probably kill 30 minions within like 3 minutes. So this is a dub. Banshee's Veil, which is the item that this goes into. It's up 15 ability power. That's noticeable. Combined cost is also up 300. That's also going to be noticeable. Right, but I guess they've taken it out of Verdant's combined cost and chucked it into Banshee's Veil. Which I don't mind, right? Because a lot of people will probably, like how they sit on Seekers, they'll sit on Verdant. The same kind of style. And then Seekers, there's not too much to say. The combined cost is going up 100, and then the total gold up 100. That's I don't like. This is gonna be rough, especially if all the AD champions are still very, very prevalent. And then up 100 total cost. It could be worse, right? Some of these items are getting buffed, right? Like Banshee's Veil and Horizon Focus. Lich Bane's getting a hit, which I think is gonna affect champions like Kali and Fizz the most, which I'm not really too bothered about. It also hits Sylas if you do a Lich Bane build, but Sylas just got some solo buffs anyway. Horizon Focus, this is nice, right? Because an extra 15 ability power, plus the range is going down on the ability of it, which is good. And then obviously Banshee's Veil and whatnot. This is all. I'd say in total this is a dub for mage players, because Lich Bane is more of an assassin type item anyway. So we got enchanter items. Staff of the Flowing Water is down 10 AP, and then Chemtech Purifier. Healing or shielding an ally champion now empowers the ally's next damage to an enemy champion with 60% Grievous Wounds for 3 seconds. This is good, right? Because it means the AD carry now doesn't have to buy Grievous Wounds, right? Your enchanter buys the Grievous Wounds for them and then just shields them, right? So like Lulu builds it or Ajana, and it means you got that extra item slot. You don't have to go Mortal Reminder. You can go Lord Doms or Howl Bloodthirster if need be, or a GA. You're not pinched into that item. So I think that's a dub. I think that's a huge dub for 80 carries. And then we've got fighter items. Silvermere Dawn, I don't even know if this is an item. Pretty much, so the attack damage is going up by 5. The health is going up by 100. Iron Spikes no longer deals more damage to low health minions and monsters. That's gonna hurt some champions in their wave clear. Because some champions relied on that. So we're gonna have to see where that lands. Obviously, I know more about mages, which is why that segment was a little bit longer. Giantess dub, fighters. This is not nice for them. Right, for once they were actually good in the game. Never gonna go back to being shit. I don't even know what this does. Right, somebody have to read up about that at some point. And then we've got, we're noticing Fan Dancers really build a second item. Build path. Okay. Zeal double longsword plus 850. I could see that. Right, because the gold on it is still exactly the same. You're losing a lot of attack speed. But there's the bonus attack speed. Again, I don't even know what fuck Fan Dancer does now that it's no longer a tank item. And then we've got Immortal Shield Bow, up 5 attack damage, up 5% attack speed. They're actually just buffing Yone. Because this is like a Yone buff. This is Yone Yasuo without fucking, while trying to buff the marksmans. They're just buffing Yone again. And then the armor pin on this is up another 10%. So like I said, right, if the supports are building that, you now have the freedom to build this. or even like a fan dancer, right? You're no longer pigeonholed into an executioners, which is very nice. Okay, here we go. Here's the big one. Sustain items, right? That's going down 4% on the missing health, which is huge. 5% Omnivamp off leeching. The health itself is going up 100, but I think the Omnivamp was what was making it a lot more prevalent. And then Omnivamp from 15 to 8%. That's a cut by half. The health is going up by half. And then the mythic passive, 5% magic pin is what it was. It's now being transferred to 8 ability power plus 2% Omnivamp. I feel like you could have gotten away with maybe like 4 and 5. Okay, where was I? Right, so we're talking about the Riftmaker. Yeah, I don't like this mythic passive on it, because you get the basic AP off of it now, and like that's not even a lot. I get it's like a bonus, but I'd probably prefer, because this 2 Omnivamp per item. That means you get the 6 items, you get 12. You already have 8, so that's 20% Omnivamp. That's not too bad, right? And then boots don't count, right? So it'd only be 10, it'd only be 18. I just think you could forego a little bit of AP and chuck on maybe another like 1% Omnivamp, and it would still be fine. And then Eclipse, the shield is going up. Right, it's now 180 to 90, and then the Omnivamp is going down, obviously. I don't, because a lot of people are doing that for like a burst combo anyway, right? Because you're dealing more damage plus getting the shield at the same time. Ravenous Hydra down 5% Omnivamp. I don't even see a lot of people building this now anyway, so it's not a huge deal. And then Lifeline, you're down to 2nd, and you're down half the shield. That's pretty much gutting the item. The only time you probably build that is maybe like a 4th item Yasuo. But obviously if you've already got Shield Bow, that's the Lifeline passive there. So that's going to be a bit iffy. Now we've got tank items. Addressing some tank items, allies, opening Frozen Heart as a cheaper mana. Force of Nature, move speed, an extra 10% maximum, 10 maximum, and then it's 2. It went from 6 to 8. Deadman's Plate down 75 health, and then Frozen Heart down 200 total gold, 200 in combined gold, and then the armor from 80 to 70. I think that's pretty big. Right, 200 gold for a 70 armor tank item. Plus, I'm pretty sure if it still has the same, what's-it-called, I just think that's massive. And then, right, so that's kind of we're gonna have to wait to see where these items like sit. But I do think this is the biggest dub of them all for 80 carry players. This is massive. Because like I said, it allows them to build DOMs and whatnot instead of the what's-it-called plus with Omnivamp going down a peg. It also means it's going to be less prevalent. Zorn Clash, right? So Clash is starting up February 15th. Tournament will officially start in patch 11.4. Pretty much Clash, right? Clash is a bit miffy. And we got AR Earth balance changes. Right, I don't really care about Earth. Yeah, when players at the end of any rank game, they'll be notified. They do not promote. That's massive. And then so pretty much it's just a couple bug fixes. It's not really too much of a deal to me. And then we've got Luna Beast Fiora, Luna Beast Viego. Wait, wasn't this already out? Pretty sure the skin was already out. Luna Beast Annie, Luna Beast Darius, Luna Beast Alistair, Luna Beast Jarvan, Luna Beast Aphelios, Luna Beast Fiora Prestige Edition. Right, so there's a Prestige Fiora. Crystal Rose Zyra and Swain. I don't like that for Swain, but it's a whatever. And then Withered Rose, Syndra, and Talon. This might be nice for a new Syndra skin, because it's been a minute, right? And then if how the fuck do we click back out of that? And then some chromas. Nothing really too much. That ends Envy's rundown of the patch notes. Sorry about all the skipping and starting. I was having some computer issues. Peace out.